Welcome back, everyone. Today's handwriting is going to continue with sight word sentences, but I remembered after doing yesterday's sight word sentences, we did the word bed, and I remembered that B and D are often flipped and written the wrong way. We get confused because they're so much alike. So here's an activity to help if you continue to mess up and put the D for a B and the B for a D because you can't remember which one it is. What you can do is start by looking at the B and practicing a row of writing B and a row of writing D and say it to yourself as you write that letter. So let's do that real quick together. I want to practice my B and D. We'll come back to these sight word cards in a minute. I'm going to start with the big B, the capital B. Now, what I notice about the capital B is it starts out the same way as the lowercase b. Down and around in the front. Okay, so I can remember the B starts the same way when I write a capital B. So B, 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 B. Oops, my card made me mess up my handwriting. B, B, B. All right. Now I'm going to do the D. And remember our capital D starts the same as the B, but the lowercase d does not. So D does not, does not, does not. It starts with a D, so I can remember D does not, or we could say D doesn't. B starts the same way, but D doesn't. So let's start D. It starts like the letter C. Up and around, but I don't stop. I go straight up and back down. D starts like a C. So B starts the same. D doesn't. It starts like a C. So let's write the D. 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 I need to move my cards out from underneath. D. 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 All right, now going back to our activity on the screen, we now look at this row of B and D all mixed up. And what I want you to do is look at them and say which one it is. So I see this D has a bump to the back side, right? It's a bump first and then the stick. So that doesn't start the same as a B. So D looks different. Ooh, there's another D word. D is different. So D, B, B, D, B. Now let's go to the next one. B, B, D, B, D. B, D, 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 B. D, B, B, D, B. B, D, B, B, D. D, D, B, B, D. So you should practice that every day until you stop flipping and mixing up the B and the D. And you should continue to practice writing them like I did here. What you could also do is write them mixed up and say it as you write them, similar to what's on the screen. If you practice that every day and you trace your B's and your D's and you say it out loud as you trace it, and you can remember B is the same, you start it the same way as the big B, but D is different, or D doesn't. It starts like the C, right? Okie doke. Now let's get to our sight word activity. We are going to look at the sight words I chose for today and make up some sentences. So I have these sight words. Whoops, lost one. To, in, from, he, where, that's a tough word, where, there. Ooh, that helps me remember. The only letter that changed is the first one, and it sounds similar, doesn't it? Where and there. Hey, it rhymes because they end the same. That, of, put, and the one I dropped is another to, but that's a different to than this to. This is the number 2. So these are great words for us to do. They're tough ones. So let's think of our first word, or our first sentence. What if I start by telling you about 2 hats? How about, I know, there are, I don't have the sight word are here, so that one we'll have to do from our memory, or we can sound it out, and that one doesn't sound out very well, so we'll talk about that one in a minute. There are 2 hats over there. So I'm going to use 2 hats, I can sound out. Over, I can sound out. There. There are 2 hats over there. I'm using there again. How about oh, I know. He has 2 hats over there. He has 2 hats over there. All right, so now let's put these up and start our sentence. And you can make your own sentences. You don't have to do Miss Porter's sentences. Sometimes mine aren't the same as yours, and that's fine if you choose your own sentence. But let's work on this one together so that we can learn to sound out some words we don't know, and sometimes we won't spell it correctly, but that's okay. We're going to try our best. We're making sure to spell these correctly because it's a sight word that we have right here in front of us. So the beginning of my sentence has to have a what? The first letter is capitalized, or a uppercase letter, right? He, an uppercase H. He has H, Z. It sounds like a Z, so we'll sound it out that way, but has is a sight word, so we should know that it's actually an S. But I'm going to sound it out. Has, it has that Z sound. He has 2 hats. Ha, ha, ha. Ha. H, a, hats. T, hat. And because there are 2 of them, I have to add something to the end. 2 hats. I put an S on the end because there are two of them. He has two hats over, and I can't fit that here, so I'm going to come down and I don't capitalize it because it's the same sentence. Over. So O, it tells me its name. That's the O, the long O sound. O-v, V, Now I can't hear the vowel here, so I'm just going to put the sound. Over there. T, H, E, R, E. He has two hats over there. I'm not asking a question. I'm telling you something, and I'm not exclaiming it. It's a period. All right, now let's get the sight words back out. That, where, to, from, in, put, of. So I think I want to ask a question again on the second sentence like we did yesterday. And most of the time, if there is a WH word, it's a question word. WH, where, what, who, all of those are WH question words. So I'm going to take my where question word for the beginning. Where, maybe I could say, where did you get that hat from? So where did you get, I'm going to have to sound those out, that hat from? All right, we'll use those words and see if we can come up with a sentence for the last words afterwards. So my capital letter, right? I'm going to turn my paper and hopefully you can see me write these. Where my finger space, did, where did, D is different, it starts like a C, did, I-N-D. Where did you, that's another sight word, we should know that word, but we can sound out a little bit, y, that'll give us a hint. What does that y sound? That one's tricky, it always tricks students. Y. The word you is spelled Y-O-U. That's a different sight word you should know by now. Where did you get G, G, E, T, that, T, H, A, T, hat, not a capital because we're still writing the same sentence. Ha, t. From, F, that one starts weird in the middle of the upper part. Up and around and down and then cross. R, O, M. And I have a question, so it needs a question mark. All right. And our last group of sight words. To, put, of, in. I think we could do, I have to put two of them in there. Ooh, I'm going to get a lot of sight words. Let's pull back out those other sight words. I am going to put 2 of them. So I have both 2's. I am going to put 2 of them, I think that was from yesterday, in there. All right, we'll move these over as we write it. I. Remember when we start with an I, and an I by itself anywhere is always an uppercase. I am, that's another sight word, am, going. I believe this is a sight word too, but let's sound it out. G, g, g. G, go. That's a long vowel sound. O, saying its name, right? Go, ing. What makes the ing ending? Ing. I-N-G. That's one to learn. An ing at the end is I-N-G. I am going to put 2 of, ooh, I'm running out of space. I'm going to go back over here. Still a lowercase letter. Them, I didn't bring that sight word card out, but we know them is the sound. That's a TH. Them, E, them. 2 of them in there. Period. Great job, guys! We used all of our sight words again today. I hope that you had fun doing this with me and writing your sentences. Please feel free to get your own sight word cards out and make your own sentences and practice at least 3 to 5 sentences every day. Great work, and don't forget to practice your B and D. And what other letters are like this? P and Q. Those get confused a lot, so you could try those as well. All right, enjoy your writing.